Welcome to the Global Gratitude Summit. I'm Sharon Saraga-Walters.
And I'm Luann Saraga-Walters. And our guests today are transforming how we view gratitude in the workplace. From the really big concept of recognizing employees to the details of how that's done, this group of dedicated professionals is intentionally instilling an attitude of gratitude in their company. Maike, Kunz, Sherri, McMillian, and Monika Ruzickova work in different parts of the world, but they join us today via the magic of Zoom for the Global Gratitude Summit to talk about their company, SAP, and how SAP decided to make gratitude an intention and a priority in their offices. The best part, it's really working. So, wow, welcome to you three. So what an honor to have you here with us on our Global Gratitude Summit. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
So before we start, I just want to say we have kind of like this Brady Bunch set up here where we can look down and I can say hi to Sherri and I can look over and I can say hi to Monika. But I just want to say, where are you, if you would just briefly say the title of your job and then what office you work in so we can kind of place where in the world you are. Monika, let's start with you.
So, hi everyone. My name is Monika Ruzickova. I'm from Prague, Czech Republic, and I'm part of People First team. And our mission is to really help people to become the very best version of themselves.
Ooh, that sounds so good. Maike, would you go next?
Yes, for sure. So welcome also from my side. My name is Maike Kunz, and I'm taking care of all global recognition programs at SAP.
Awesome. And where are you, Maike?
I'm based in Germany.
Fantastic, Deutschland. I lived there briefly. It was a beautiful country. And Sherri, where are you from and what's your title?
Hi, I'm Sherri McMillian. I currently work as a sales compensation lead for our cloud businesses, but initially I was SAP's first recognition lead, supporting all of our global recognition programs, and recently turned the reins over to Maike. So I am currently residing in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania.
Awesome. Wow. So we've got four corners of the world represented in this call, which is so cool. Mm-hmm. Sherri, we want to begin with you. And I know, SAP is such a huge company and made up of a lot of different companies as well. And I'm going to, a little bit further on for our viewers, introduce you to the SAP homepage and a video, which is a commercial that you're going to recognize. And we're going to get to that in a second. But first, tell us a little bit about why was this program, this employee recognition program started? What kind of a culture existed and what was really the purpose and the aim of it?
Sure. So in around 2010, Total Rewards was going through a transformation, and SAP had become a large global company. We were, as of today, we're in 80 countries and have over 90,000 employees. And our Total Rewards solutions, such as career frameworks and annual salary planning, you're working on globalizing those solutions. And by the end of or beginning of 2013, we had pretty much globalized the majority of our programs, except for recognition. And what we had found at the time was that we had over 80 recognition programs worldwide, focusing on 70 different behaviors. Not all employees were eligible. People couldn't recognize from one country to another. And there were a lot of challenges with this. The programs were all highly manual. They weren't cost effective or transparent. No one knew who was getting recognized for what. We couldn't report on the outcomes. We couldn't report on how much we spend. And so we said our last effort was to try to implement a global recognition program. And so I was asked to, as I program managed all of the other global initiatives that we had in Total Rewards, and so I was asked to lead this recognition initiative. So I became the first global recognition lead for SAP. And what we did, our goal was to have one global platform where employees could recognize each other, so sort of an everyone to everyone experience. They could recognize each other for the SAP culture or values. We call them our how we run behaviors. and be able to give each other small monetary tokens. So anywhere from a thank award, which could be zero, just a 0 points, up to maybe 500 points, which would equal like 500 euros. So that was the initial proposal. Now, it sounds like a simple program in context, and that's what we want it to be. We want it to be simple and easy for employees to use, but it's actually very complex to implement a program like this. And so we had to go to our HR leadership in order to ask for budget and resources in order to implement this globally. And a really robust recognition program, it costs money, right? So a really robust program that could impact and change culture spends about 1% of payroll. And for SAP, we have a $6 billion payroll expense. So it was about $60 million is what a very viable culture-changing program would cost. And we at the time estimated we were only spending about 8 to 12 million. So,
wow. Okay, wait. Those are pretty big sums. Now, I want to put this into perspective too for some companies that aren't as big as SAP. So you're talking about percentage of your budget, what you've allocated towards employee recognition, because that's a lot of money.
It is. It's 1%, which isn't a lot, but when you think 1% of $6 billion, it's $60 million is a lot of money.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, please continue.
No, it's fine. And so, there's a lot of complexities when it comes to implementing a program. And one of the reasons why a lot of companies, especially SAP, struggle with implementing something globally is because there are different tax laws in every country around how they're not cash awards. One of the things about a recognition program where we use points, and there's a lot of gamification out there where banks give you points, where you spend a certain amount of money, you get points to redeem for things. It's the same concept where, it's got a gamification aspect where you can accumulate points and spend them on experiences and, gifts, et cetera. You can buy something for your kids, or you can buy something for your husband, or take your family on a trip based on the points you've accumulated. And that has more value than cash, right? If I give you $25 in cash and it goes into your paycheck, you're never really going to know what you spend it on. You probably spend it on bills. It's going to go through direct deposit.
Sure.
And other than the initial, email you got, you're probably not going to have many memories tied to that token. But if you get it as a points that you can then redeem for something memorable, there's more of an experience tied to that.
Well, you're talking about employee engagement. If you get it in your paycheck, it's like, well, that's cool. But then after a while, it's just a part of the normal routine of your paycheck. But this, like you said, the gamification of it, the participatory in the game of giving and in the game of receiving. So that actually brings me to Sharon's first question, because you just segued so beautifully into that.
So why is the employee recognition rewards program important?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. And one of the things we didn't get the approval to do the initial global rollout, but because of that $60 million expense. But what they did say was, let's run a pilot. Let's try it in one country and let's see the results. And this is why I want to show you how important this is that it really has a huge impact on employee engagement. We ran a pilot in Ireland. Ireland only has about 1,000 employees, but over that 6-month pilot only. Considering that we have other countries like Germany has 20,000.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, so it's one of our smaller countries, but they had a very robust recognition program in place initially before we started, and we replaced it with this one. And in the 6-month period, they gave 2,000 awards amongst each other, appreciate awards, 5 levels that they could give to each other, and 72% of their population was recognized. And we did a pre and post survey, and I have some stats here from that. One was the pre-survey said 37% were satisfied with the recognition they received for doing a good job, and at the end of the program, 71% were satisfied with the recognition they did. So it was
that's huge.
Almost doubled their satisfaction for the recognition they received doing a good job. Recognition within my organization is fair. The pre-survey results were 38%, and at the end it was 67%. So we almost doubled in how people felt about being recognized for the work and their contribution. And ideally, that's what this is really about, is to feel part of the organization, feel like you're recognized and rewarded for the contributions that you bring. And it's not just your salary or your bonus you get at the end of the year. It's those moments along the way that make you feel as if you're contributing to the greater good of the organization.
And that really makes you feel, and I think that comes to the essence of why people have jobs anyway. Because it's the purpose of your life. Am I contributing to humanity in some way? And how is that evidenced and how is that seen? And I thank you for sharing the statistics from the beta program, because wow, that's a huge, that had to spur you on significantly. So Maike, I want to turn to you in talking about further that response among the employees. Now that was the beta program that Sherri was talking about. Now that you've seen a little bit more of expansion, what has been that employee response? Are you seeing it performing the way you'd kind of hoped and that employees are really receiving it? What has that looked like?
Yeah, absolutely good question. So we see that the usage of the Appreciate program continues and even grow year over year. So I just mentioned to Sherri and Monika before, in this year, so in 2019, we already received, or there's so many Appreciate Awards have been sent, like in the whole year of 2018. So we are, as of now, in September, we are already in the rate we had last year. So it really grows and grows. Also looking at our HR internal feedback survey. So we have a survey rating our HR services where we have really a bunch of, and it clearly shows that Appreciate is on the employee, but also on the manager side, the best rated service we have at SAP. And that is really something we can be proud of, and really also reveals the potential of the program. It's super easy to use. People like it. We have continuous improvements by additional countries joining, but also having new ideas and to further enhance it. And of course, there are differences country by country, but looking at the countries joining year over year, the monetary version, and we had in this year, we had already a bunch of, we had roughly like 10 or 15 countries joining already. And for next year, we even have more plans. We really see that when countries join, also the usage rate gets higher and higher. And additionally, recognition is one of the hot topics we really have this year. So in 2019, we had different departments and areas looking at recognition as the most important one, as a moment that matters in the life cycle of each employee.
And then actually, we had talked about this a little bit when we were doing kind of our exploratory call, and when you're talking about how each employee has received it. So is there a particular story from an employee that stands out in your mind of how this was an example of a positive reception for the program?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we have a lot of comments in the HR feedback survey how managers and employees appreciate the program. But what I personally really love is when people reach out to us in our department and tell a story of their lives. Like, for example, a Philippine colleague, she collected a lot of Appreciate points during her time at SAP, and with that points, she granted a vacation for her whole family at her place, so at a place abroad. And she was super lucky and never would have had the chance before without the Appreciate program to grant this vacation. And she shared it with us, and she was so thankful, and that gives us back so much. So we're really looking forward to more experience stories like that, and we are always happy when an employee shares that with us.
Well, and see, this being the Global Gratitude Summit, that's part of what we've been discovering in talking with different speakers like you guys, is that it's gratitude creates gratitude. It's not that it's experienced by one person. It's that one person experiences it, and then it just keeps replicating itself. It's like it keeps enhancing. So I'm sure that's evident in the workplace too. It's almost like a pay it forward kind of thing. You just naturally want to when you're grateful for being recognized for. You see that as well. Do you think that's part of the atmosphere and the culture that's driving the success of this program?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it's not only about receiving the awards, it's also about having the chance to send over awards. So when I think a colleague did really a great job or supported me, or even if a program didn't work out, but the efforts were there, I really have the feeling to send over an appreciate award, because I think this should be recognized independently from their specific outcome, because the outcome can be also not like expected. So I really like the opportunity we have to use appreciate to also send over awards, because then if there comes back like, oh, thank you, you really made my day, that's like even the better part than receiving an award, actually.
That's cool.
Wow, that's
and that's,
great.
we always say it. It's a work family. It is. It's your interrelationships. All right. So Maike, step 2 of this process is Sharon's going to ask you the next question.
Okay. So Maike, what are the future plans, the expansion to additional countries and charity options?
So we are currently live with the thank you version in all SAP countries. So we already have the opportunity to send over and receive thank you awards to everyone in the company. With the monetary version, we are currently live in 43 countries. So there are more, hopefully more to come. And with 2020, we really have on the agenda to provide a global program. So this is our most important future plan, I would say, for next year, because the coverage is currently at, let's say, 73% of the workforce. So we have 1 or 2 bigger countries, and after they join, we really can talk about a global program. In addition, of course, we also have some program enhancements. So in this year, we totally revamped our tool. So we have not only a desktop version, but also a mobile version, and the new look and feel makes it even more simple to send over appreciate awards. An additional point which came into our mind, and also we receive, and I really have to say, we receive so many great ideas from employees. So not only with the survey we do for the HR services, during the year, people just send us a mail like, oh, like appreciate is a super nice program, but have you thought about this one and this one? So we really get new ideas. And one of those ideas was the charity option, so the donation one. We have at SAP a program which is called SAP Together. So you can propose, for example, like an animal shelter in your hometown for this SAP Together platform, and then you can send them an email and they can register, and then you can donate money. And with that tool we already have at SAP, we plan to connect to our Appreciate platform, so that if you receive a 25 or 50 bucks Appreciate award, you can then just easily connect it to the SAP Together to donate for goodwill of your choice. So that is really on our agenda, and we hopefully can implement in 2020 as well.
See, I love hearing these ideas too. And again, I'm putting this into perspective of companies that may not be as robust or as big as SAP, but the ability to do something so creative, to really reach the purpose of a person, to say, I really believe in this and I would love to share it forward, basically. So somebody has shared with me their appreciation for my work in a project, and now I get to share it forward to something that's near and dear to my heart. That is phenomenal. That is a wonderful way to really propel gratitude and to make that wrap around, what is important. And I think it's really linking your company even further. Now, Monika, before we come to you, I want to, for our viewers, give them a little bit of an insight into SAP as it is. Now, you may not realize that you're already familiar with SAP, and yet I think that as we go to the homepage, sap.com, and we scroll down to, there's a popular face, Clive Owen. Now, I'm going to play this video for you, and then you'll get a little bit of a taste. So hang on, we'll be right back.
So, how are you feeling? On a scale of 1 to 5.
Wait, 1 to 5? When it comes to feelings, it's more like 5 million.
There's everything from happy
To extremely happy.
There's also angry.
Really angry, Clive.
Actually, really angry.
Thank you.
And C36B, angry.
You, Clive Owen.
And you're barefoot.
Yeah.
There's also apprehension.
Regret.
Relief. Oh, and there's empathy.
Oh, I got this in Zurich.
Actually, what's the opposite of empathy? But what if your business could understand what your customers are feeling and then do something about it? You can turn disappointment into gratitude.
Clive, you gotta try this.
Can't, I'm working. Turn problems into opportunities.
Thanks, Joe.
Change the future of your business. Change the whole experience.
All right, who wants to go again?
I do!
really good feeling about this.
And I love that. Oh, you're not wearing any shoes. Yeah, stinky. Woo. But the thing that really jumped out to me about this is because SAP is not only externally facing, it's internally facing. So you're talking about turning clients into, and then also turning employees into ambassadors. And that, I think, gets to the heart of how gratitude can really motivate and propel us. So, Monika, I want to turn to you now and talk about that company culture of turning employees into ambassadors. How does that drive activity and participation?
Thanks for the question. So I'm responsible for a program within SAP Ariba and Fieldglass, which is called Thrive. And our mission is really about employee engagement and about really creating a great place, great employee experience, and great company culture. And we have about more than 80 ambassadors all around the globe, in 22 cities, 13 countries. And we are one team, acting together. And they're a really extended part of our People First team when I explain that our mission is about really helping people to become the very best version of themselves. And when we were talking about gratitude and knowing that it actually has such an important impact on our company culture, and knowing that thanks to Sherri and Maike and all her teamwork, we have this great solution from SAP there. And they actually, as an analogy, they created the rails. With Maike, they added all the trains there. We have all the infrastructure, we have the schedules, everything is working, but we have a people on the station. We want to make sure they know there is this great infrastructure. They don't use, their cars when they don't need to. And when we said what we can do with this powerful network of our ambassadors to actually promote it, to make sure that people not only know about the tool and the impact, but they also know about how appreciation and being, grateful can change not only your day of life, but also day of others. So we came to an idea, and we said let's experiment, because we are really fond of really making experiments. We wanna really believe that sometimes you need to experiment and see how it works. And we said let's use 3 months, let's use 1 quarter, where we basically every week we invite people to appreciate a different group of people. Sometimes it can be your peer. That's usually what comes to you when you think, oh, who can I appreciate, from a workplace perspective. But think about leaders. Think about some of the groups that naturally doesn't come, at the first, as a group being, appreciated. And every week invite people and share some of the stories and some of the inspiration around gratitude, and see how it impacts the usage of the system, and actually how ultimately it can really improve our company culture. So we are almost in the second half of the quarter, running this every week inspiration and email campaign, and also with our ambassador network working to promote the tool with their own initiatives and events. And I can right now share that the statistics and the metrics are awesome. We've grown the usage for our prospective groups by more than 80%. And it's amazing to see the results, and it's also amazing to see that leaders really lead by example. If we have a leaders using the tool and appreciating, sharing, they are grateful, then there is a massive adoption within their departments, within their organizations, and it has a major impact then on the culture.
That's awesome. We actually, I want to give a shout out to Christine Kern, your coworker, who is also a friend of ours that, and congratulations, they just had their baby. Yay, David and Christine. But she first actually introduced us to this program. And then we went, we got to know more about this, because that's what the Global Gratitude Summit's all about. So 2 things as you were talking, and I'm going to have Sharon first has a question that's kind of encompassing. Now, you touched on it a little bit, but if you can go a little bit further into that, you want to ask the question?
Okay. So about the Appreciate campaign, how does it work?
Kind of, what is that actual structure? I mean, you mentioned it in a broad swoop, but if you could go into that when you were talking about the first quarter testing and whatnot, what does that look like?
So every week we have like email. It's like a communication prepared to send out to all like 6,500 people, in our organization, in part of the organization. So we don't target the whole SAP, but our subdivision. And it has a set structure where we have a quote, gratitude quote. So every week there is a new quote. Every week there is a new theme, a new group of people we invite people to think about when it comes to appreciation. So I mentioned to you, a couple of examples. So it can be the unsung hero, it can be a leader, it can be a rookie or service champion, or it can be a mentor. So there are different, every week there is a different group we invite people to think about when it comes to appreciation.
And this is like, let me just pause you for a second, Monika. So when you say you were inviting a different group, they come in, they do is it like a workshop? Is it a conversation, a talk? What is that?
It means just like inviting other people to think about this group of people when it comes to appreciation. So for example, if we say a leader, it's inviting people to think about like a leaders in their organization, in their life.
That's awesome. You're giving them something to practice gratitude specifically on.
It's just a tip of like who you can appreciate. It can be like a leader, for example. It doesn't necessarily need to be your direct manager, but it can be your direct manager where you like think about, I'm actually, I feel appreciation. I want to share my gratitude for something in particular, they have done for me, in my career.
Wow.
You're really expanding that too.
Yeah.
That's great. So how does someone become an ambassador, and what is that job?
So being a Thrive ambassador, it's a volunteer engagement. We have our own application process, and it's on top of your regular, day job. So it's all about the passion you have, and it's about like you want to have like really live your purpose and help like others to thrive and listen to people and make a positive impact on our culture. So it's application based. So we are running like a campaign to onboard like new ambassadors globally, and they are then becoming extended part of our team, making an impact in their location because they understand their people the best. That is really proven concept of, if you have a smaller team like us, like we are not all around the globe, it's important for us to have a local people and local representatives, which is like what is our ambassador network about.
That's awesome. And again, you guys, you crack me up a little bit because your little team is probably as big as many companies. So just perspective there, because you guys are so big and you're used to it. I want to bring this home into a more personal aspect too. And I didn't give this to you in advance intentionally because I want to have you guys just kind of think about how has this program, how has the Appreciate campaign or the actual larger program impacted you personally? Not professionally, but personally in your workplace. And this is freebie. So whoever wants to talk first, just raise your hand and I can call you out. Because if you all start talking at the same time, it might get a little confusing. So how has this impacted you personally?
Happy to start.
Okay, all right.
So for me, it's a super positive topic, and working with such great, positive inspiration, but also ideas coming from the employees regarding appreciation and how important the topic is. I'm just super thankful for the project I can work on, but also I'm super impressed by people bringing up such great ideas, and also how important recognition is for their daily work. So I see tons of leaders looking at how can I appreciate and recognize my employees to really make a difference? And in my opinion, that really makes a good leader out of people. So if they function as a leader, not as a manager or boss, they really want to bring the people together. And for me personally, I love that I work in such a company where recognition has such a big impact and also importance for the managers. So for me personally, it's like it's just a super positive topic I love to work with.
Well, that's awesome. And that's one of the number one things for retention, right? Is to really feel that positive contribution and value. So yay, cool. Okay, who's next?
I can go.
Sherri, okay.
Yeah, I can go. So for me personally, like Maike said, being in the role of implementing this program and launching it into the company and watching it grow and watch the benefits that have come to individual employees as a result of this program is like the coolest job to have. Every day I'm focused on how to help employees become more engaged and enjoy the work that they do and enjoy the environment that they're in. So that's one thing. But two, as I've moved on to another role, I've now become the recipient of a couple of Appreciate Awards myself, which, in the global role as the Appreciate Lead, you don't really get as many, not everybody's eligible. It's not really the focus, but now I'm supporting the business, such as the business that Monika works in. I actually support some of the people in her organization, and they've given me a few Appreciate Awards for the work that I've done for various areas, and it's really meaningful and rewarding. My boss gets notified that I got it, and he can comment on it, and it's helped create a stronger relationship for the people that I've supported in the organization, because I know that they appreciate the work I'm doing for them, and it helps create more relationships and tighter bonds with people as well. I mean, as you said initially, it's like your work family. And when you've formally been recognized, it's not just an email. It's like a formal thing that's being tracked and recorded. It means something, and it really makes for a really good day and a good week. So
that's awesome. And do you find that actually, and Monika, I'm coming to you in a second, you're not getting off the hook. Do you find that, Sherri, that because that feeling feels so good that it carries over into other areas? And I'm kind of reading a little bit, but it's not just that work is, we try to categorize and compartmentalize, but we're human beings and everything flows.
Yeah, no, for me, work is part of my daily life. I don't compartmentalize it. And I couldn't spend my day working with people I didn't like or doing something I didn't enjoy. And so adding something as a formalized program like this, really puts intention to it. It's not just like sending a quick email off to someone. It actually puts intention and purpose into the recognition that you're giving. And I think it just adds a little bit extra to it.
That's awesome.
Create a really warm environment, positive environment. Yeah.
All right. Personal standpoint, Monika, coming to you.
So as we started to use the system ourselves as part of the program, I started to feel the impact, and it was amazing to feel that on your own, because sending an appreciation, I always felt it's about that person. It's about saying thank you. It's I want to make someone, happy, or just share my appreciation. And you soon realize that it has a major impact on you as someone who is sending it. And it makes you, feel really happy, and more productive. And as I think Sherri mentioned, it really creates our community. It brings people together, and it connects people together, and it's such important pillar for a great company culture. It's really the basic. So that on personal level, it really helped me to pause and realize that how much I'm grateful, for all the aspects in my life. And so I'm really happy to be part of that and experience that, and, be in the role where I can promote it further, because I'm so much believing in that.
That's awesome. I want to ask you guys this, because there's something that in the back of my head just keeps making me see this from a smaller organization standpoint too, that doesn't have the capacity to put the platform into place like SAP has. What, just from an advice standpoint, what are some practical things that you've seen already executed within this program that a smaller organization that could actually promote that attitude of gratitude within that? Does anybody have, this is one of those spontaneous, spur of the moment questions that just popped up. And I thought, that would be, you guys are the experts here. You've developed this huge program. What have you seen that at the heart of it could be something that they could put into practice to increase that workplace gratitude?
So I would like to comment on that, because when we started this initiative and this campaign of introducing, the gratitude and the tool to employees, we always said that, having a tool and, promoting it, a great tool like that, it's important, but sharing gratitude and it can be really simple. It can be about picking up the phone. It can be about really talking to people and really go old school and, give them a thank you, card. And that can have, similar impact. So my suggestion would be starting maybe smaller and start with explaining people the power of gratitude and the impact it can have on employee engagement and on actually further on your business outcomes when people are engaged, and it positively impacts the retention and the productivity and communication within the teams. You can start by explaining that and maybe going old school and also see that there is an impact of people being more grateful.
That's awesome. And old school in this case means talking instead of technology. I love that too. Anybody else too? And I'm throwing that out as a spontaneous. Don't feel like it's a necessity, but just thought you'd be great people to have feedback for it.
I will say that SAP is a very large company, and I think it actually makes it more complex to implement a program like this. And to be honest, it's actually not a very expensive program to implement. The tools are all cloud-based, they're subscription-based, so you're paying for employee utilization, and the primary value is in the awards that go to the employees. So, if anyone is interested in implementing, I'm sure they can reach out to Maike or Monika or myself, and we can figure out how to get them started. So it's not expensive or complex, especially if you have a smaller, company with less countries involved. But I think Monika makes good points, and then gratitude is something anyone can practice every day.
Yeah.
And can, especially people who are going to be listening, it's something that they want to focus on, that they want to do. And so, adding the things like emails and phone calls and really remembering to appreciate people that you work with every day, I think has a huge impact, whether there's a formal tool to do it or not. But I don't want people to get scared at the size of SAP, thinking you need to be this size to implement something like this. You really don't. We have a lot of different size companies that this platform can be made available to. So
yeah, you're right. It can be actually much easier.
It's much easier. Yeah,
it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great points. Yeah. Wow. Well, my goodness, you guys, I'm just over the moon with this talk. This has just been so robust and rich and just full of, it's one of the things that we intentionally wanted to do with the second annual Global Gratitude Summit was to try to bring in a little bit more of that workplace practice, because we live so much of our lives in the workplace. And it affects a lot of the other areas of our lives. And, Sherri, I like what you said about not compartmentalizing. I know a lot of people do, just because there might be a situation that, they don't want this to spill over into the rest of their world. But when you can put that piece of gratitude in, and Sharon calls it graticize, because it's exercising, intentionally exercising gratitude.
And I just want to say, I just can't say enough thanks to your company, to all of you, to all the ambassadors, to everybody that is making this happen, and globally. I have been sitting here talking with you all and listening and had a smile on my face the entire time. How many times in corporate work do you find that happening? And that's, I think, what you're doing with your whole organization.
Yeah.
People are smiling, they're happier, you really are making such a difference to so many people. And I hope that people that are listening, who are, they'll take a lot of great ideas from you all. So congratulations to what you're doing, and thank you for all your work.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And a shout out to the SAP execs who may be watching this to say, hey, you got some testimonial sound bites right here from these three women who are amazing, and I'm sure the rest of their teams as well. So thank you, SAP, thank you, Monika, thank you, Maike, thank you, Sherri, for joining us on the second annual Global Gratitude Summit. And to our viewers, we'll see you in the next talk.